Hello everyone, I'm Jukka and welcome to my channel again. It's been a long time since I made the video and I have been struggling a little bit with my streaks and my motivation to do almost anything, and I feel like I don't have anything new to say many times, and I'm circling in this same loop all the time and relapsing and talking about motivation and urges and this stuff. But today I have a new idea. I was flying with my flight simulator. I found these vintage propliners and these jetliners from 50s, 60s and 70s. I have been flying with those, and I found a couple of interesting names, Eric Cantu and Thomas Roth. They have been making these, for example, DC-8 and DC-10, and I fell in love with this DC-10 30 from I think it was from Vista Liners and Eric Cantu from the beginning. It was flying very nicely in my flight simulator 2004, and I've been also testing this Flight Simulator X a little bit. I don't like this as much as I like this 2004, but I have installed and I have tried to get it working. And I found Thomas Roth has been making this Eric Cantu DC-10 to Flight Simulator X. And it's a gorgeous plane. It flies like a dream. But still there is something, it's too fast, and I tried to fine-tune it. I didn't find any good advice or good settings to do that. So it flashed to my mind that there is one more from this historic jetliners group, HJG, and they have many add-ons to use if you like these vintage planes. There was one DC-10 30. I started researching in this where this comes from, and actually it was Eric Cantu's plane also, and they had been making these adjustments, and there was this Flight Simulator X variant. So I installed, I tried to fly. It was making these all kinds of noises, and I didn't know what I'm doing wrong. So I was going to give up and delete the folder and give up on this. I still had this idea that it's a very well made plane, and I was sitting there on the tarmac on Kallax airbase in northern Sweden in my simulator, and I was going through my struggle. I recognized that this is my comfort zone. I'm struggling with my comfort zone. I have to learn something new if I want to use this airplane, but I don't want to do that. So there I'm sitting, and it's not working, and I'm going deeply through all this in my mind, and going through it. I delete it, and I make a account on those forums on the historic jetliners group, and tell them that there should be levels on this actually on this plane for newbies who can't do this or procedures. and I'm struggling there, and time goes and nothing happens, and I'm with my fingers on my mouse and almost deleting this. I don't even know what this sound means. What warning is that? I don't know. I have no idea. I have been flying all these other planes, but this is different. This is so different, and I'm looking. There are many different panels, and DC-10 is flown by a crew of 3. So there is this captain and first officer and flight engineer. So this is actually working, this flight engineer panel, and I have only one plane before where this flight engineer panel is working. And it's a propeller plane. This is this Super Constellation from the 50s. But I mastered it. But with this DC-10 I have no motivation. None whatsoever. None. I'm struggling and struggling. And okay, I test one YouTube video. It's a takeoff warning. And what it means, there is something wrong. There is something, some setting, flaps are too low or too high or something else. I don't know really what to adjust to get it quiet. And parking brake, I released the parking brake. It still is making these noises, and it's very annoying actually. So I start getting a little bit of motivation, a very little bit of motivation. I make a Google search, and I try to find if there could be any clue. Takeoff warning. And I get into some accident investigation where they had listened to this warning and aborted this takeoff too late, and they got off the runway in the end. But there was no clues. What was wrong? Why was this warning sounding? So yeah, there is my struggling, and I get nowhere. I try to find if there is something about DC-10 and about this, some specific warnings. Okay, after that I got into some investigation about general takeoff warning systems. What is the difference between different planes? And there is a table, and it says there are crosses what McDonnell Douglas has built into this warning system. There are these crosses, and I check auto brake. I engage the auto brake to take off and arm it, and I try to push up the throttles, and no, nothing. It's still making these awful annoying sounds, and I tick in all the boxes, and I have this motivation now. I'm researching this, why is this happening to me, and I'm trying to find a solution, and I have gotten out of my comfort zone now, and which I thought would never be happening actually, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and one final thing that seems to have something to do with this is the autopilot. But if I engage the autopilot, only one engine is giving full power, and the two on the wings are not, and I can't get up to the air. And if I make some changes, the sound comes back. So yeah, there is nothing much to do anymore. But then I get this idea. If I could use this thrust limiter, which have different options, take off and go around, climb, and normal cruise. So, okay, there's this button N1 on the panel, and this take-off power setting on the other panel. And I push on this take-off power, which is I think 108%, and I don't touch the thrust levers. I release the hand parking brake, and when I push this N1, everything is quiet. The power goes up, the plane starts moving, and there's engines give their maximum 108% power, and I have learned one new thing, actually, how to get this, because it's a magnificent plane. It's very much simulated. Many systems are simulated that are not simulated in many planes, not even those you could buy. So because now I'm up in the air, I have got a new experience. I learned a new thing about life also, actually, and about my thinking. So now I have this problem to land this plane also. It's very realistic, and you feel this weight. It's not moving so quickly. If you do something wrong, you get too low. You can't climb like a space rocket, and so yeah, now I have this problem to land this beast, because it's a beast. It's a wonderful beast, but while I'm descending there and almost hitting the treetops, I'm thinking about this NoFap journey and these streaks, and the struggle that you have. And you have to be precise. You have to be right on the spot. You have to be on the right altitude. You have to do everything right. You have to recognize these triggers, and you have to recognize all these rabbit holes you can get into. And it's like these treetops, because they are quite low, and I hit these also sometimes. So you have to be careful and try to manage this landing. You have to manage this starting to get too close to something that could lead to a disaster, that could lead to a relapse. Because if you go too far, I mean, with this plane, if you go too low, you hit really the treetops, and after you get, for example, maybe 10 to 30 feet from the tops, you are really descending and hitting them, because there is this momentum it's going towards the ground, and you can't change this quickly. So this is the problem also with the urges. If you start to go in this direction towards the more and more urges and similar, there comes this certain point, like in this landing, where you can't stop. You will crash. You will relapse. So yeah, this is very deep knowledge, and I'm happy that I didn't delete this aircraft. It's a wonderful aircraft, and I didn't think that it could be possible to learn so much from one single airplane and trying to take off only within a computer program in a simulator. So yeah, this is my deep insights today. You can share it in the comments if you have similar insights from your hobbies and or something you can relate to, because it's not always about addictions and nofap and this kind of things, but there are some perspectives in hobbies, and that's why I have this flight simulator in my channel also. And so yeah, this is what I have in my mind today. I hope you like this video. You can click the like button if you liked, and if you like my content and my channel, you can subscribe if you want to. And see you next time. Bye bye.